Podcast. We're live. We're live.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Welcome to the Brown Choir Podcast. This is your host, Josh Keatley. With me is Donovan James. This is our second try at this. I did figure out how to delete the last video, Donovan, so the minute and 30 of us just staring at each other is off of YouTube. Thank goodness.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So last night we talked about the Browns and the Ravens, but tonight we get to the good stuff, my friend. We're doing our betting show. We're giving our top 3 college bets and our top 3 NFL bets. But first, you're wearing what is that, Texas A&M hat?
I am. No,
okay.
I'm not trying to make a statement.
Well, I thought that was kind of weird because you bet against them last week.
I did. I lost that bet.
Did you? Because what was the spread on that? Well, you know what? We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
So how this is going to break down, we're going to give you a review of our college bets. We're going to jump into our 3 top college bets, a review of our NFL bets, and a breakdown of our top NFL bets. Donovan, is there any side stories or anything that we need to talk about before diving into a review from last week?
No, I think we're good, man.
Yeah, we kind of vented about the college football playoff enough last week, right?
Yeah, and then we got a little taste last night if they, when they listened to the show.
Yeah. For the record, if I'm in charge of the play, well, let me ask you this: what do you think about the whole Big Ten stuff?
I hate it, but I think that when you start the season so late, this is what happens. You have no room for error at all. There's no room for the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 has a crappy situation we woke up to this morning where Colorado and USC can't make up that game. And I'm getting texts from my friends. Shout out to my boy Nathan from Colorado. That's just like, dude, we should have won the Pac-12. Like, I don't disagree with you, but it's like these are the rules. They're allowed to change rules apparently too. This is what happens when you start the season so late. That's why the SEC does it right, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, but you are right. You are right.
They're like, if you're gonna do, FCC is like,
we're
gonna get hella cases like the SEC has. Mississippi State had 45 cases. They're still playing games. They're like, we're playing. If you want to play, you can cancel games, and we're gonna make them up. Like Georgia gets to make up the Vanderbilt game on SEC championship weekend, like so they can still make a Power 5 or Power 6 or whatever bowl game, a New Year's 6. So it's like. Even the AAC did it right, like because it doesn't have to. No, I know we joke about the SEC.
So did the Sun Belt.
Yeah, like they did it right. Like, and then obviously, like people are always making fun of BYU. Sorry, I'm going on a rant right now. We said don't do that, but
I don't care.
People are always making fun of BYU, Army, Navy, and like Notre Dame for not having a conference. Well, hell, Notre Dame joined a conference for this year. The conference they're already in every other sport. BYU, they're not in a conference, so they can play whoever the hell they want. I
don't know why Notre Dame did. I don't know why the ACC did that. By the way, if I was the ACC, I'd be like, nah. You either join us all the time or you don't get to do it at all because they would have had a really hard time scheduling teams.
Oh, they're smart for doing it. It makes their conference. You just went through 14 teams. It made their conference look a lot better. They might have 2 teams in the college football playoff.
What do they care?
It just makes them look better.
They're not going to get 2 teams in the college football playoff.
I don't know, man. Because
one of those teams is going to either Clemson's going to beat Notre Dame and Notre Dame's out, or Notre Dame's going to beat Clemson for the second time and then they're out.
Are they out?
Yeah, because if Clemson beats Notre Dame, I think it's going to be because Notre Dame is the kind of team when they lose, they don't look good losing, right?
I think if Clemson beats Notre Dame by less than 10 points, Notre Dame's still going to make the playoff.
There's no way they're going to put a team in the playoffs the week after they lose a game. That's insane. That's insane.
They're gonna put A&M over Notre Dame.
I personally, are you really asking me? Because you know what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say yeah.
I'm gonna say Cincinnati, bro.
They're not gonna put Cincinnati in over.
I know they're not. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, you know that though, and they're not gonna put A&M. I get they might, but A&M that one loss to Bama, they did not belong on the field with them. If Notre Dame loses to a Clemson team by 7 points, man, and they already beat them. You gotta give Notre Dame ahead of Notre Dame should be ahead of A&M to me. The only thing is though, it's gonna kind of.
Well, what about the Pac-12? USC still undefeated.
They're not making.
USC still undefeated.
Yeah, but we don't get to play Colorado. If we got to play Colorado, yeah, but like we're playing UCLA.
What does it matter? What does it matter if they're undefeated and they do their thing?
We're not good enough.
Why are they not good enough and they're undefeated? But now you're sitting here telling me that Texas A&M's could get in. Texas A&M barely beat. How many wins does Auburn have? 4 wins. They were losing by 7 points going into the fourth quarter. You're telling me that USC's definitively worse than them?
They beat a ranked team. We haven't.
But the rankings we just talked about are bullshit. The rankings are made up. Indiana's beat 3.
You really think
Texas
A&M's schedule is harder? Not harder than
you just all I'm saying is you can't.
Come on, man.
What I'm saying is you can't prove it because all the arguments are based off of rankings. Well,
I can go off eye test. You can go off eye test. USC
dude, eye test.
But
again, you don't know, right? Because based off of eye test, Iowa State's better than Louisiana Lafayette.
Well, I mean,
Lafayette beat Iowa State in Iowa State.
We got to do something, man. We're supposed to be.
You do something. USC's undefeated. That's the something. The regular season's a playoff, right? Give them a shot. You don't know if you already know if you're going off eye test. Why even play the games?
I just don't think just because you could go undefeated and not play a ranked team. If you go 10-2,
why would you give
6 ranked teams? You're going to tell me your strength of schedule's top 10.
But the strength of schedules are made up. They're made up. They're completely arbitrary.
You know what teams are good though.
You're only playing. No, you really don't. You're only playing within your conference.
You don't think Alabama's playing like so? You don't think they run the same?
Everybody see that's the problem is that when everybody talks about their strength of conference, you pick out the best teams.
Not even
right?
conference.
Like Alabama.
No, you don't have to say conference. What about Notre Dame? They're not in the conference. We talk about that every year. Well, they play Notre Dame's schedule. They play one team from every Power 5, and they play a hard schedule every year. You know they're playing good teams. I mean, it's clear as day. Clemson's better than USC. They lost the game. Like, come on, man. Like, they lost one game. We would have lost to Notre Dame.
They lost the game. You have your what is USC supposed to do? They have these guys. They have a schedule that was presented to them. The players didn't pick the schedule. All you can do is beat the teams in front of you. And they are doing that.
That's just not. I can't put teams that just. I can't do it, man. They're not good enough.
Then why even play the games? Why wouldn't you just give Alabama the national championship immediately in August? Why? Why even do it?
No, we put the best 4 teams in, and I mean, right now they have the best 4 teams.
So who are the best 4 teams?
The top 4 that they have.
They have Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, right?
Put it whatever order you want to put it in, but at the end of the day, those are the best 4 teams. Those are the top.
I mean, let's use Ohio State as an example because I'm an Ohio State fan. But you can even make an argument against Ohio State. They beat one winning team so far by 7 points. Didn't they? I mean, you know what I mean? Like they got
to go beat Northwestern. But I'm saying like that USC is not going to even have that shot because they're either going to play Washington or Oregon. Oregon's already out of the top 25. They've lost 2 games. Which
I don't get. I don't get how Iowa State has 2 losses, one to a Sun Belt team, and they're ranked. So I don't get the rankings so much. And we're sitting here sucking off Texas A&M. They barely beat Auburn, and Auburn's not good.
I'm not really sucking. I mean, they're just number 5. Like I'm a realist. Like that they are number 5. They beat Florida. That's number 6 right behind them. So I'm just being real. Like you gotta act like you're actually in the committee. Like the hypotheticals are cool, but like you gotta.
I'm not hypothetical. I'm not hypothetical in anything. All I'm saying. I mean, everything's a hypothetical. You're hypothetical. You're doing that too, though, right? Because you're assuming one is better, whether based on the assumption that the SEC is better, the conference is better, or the recruiting rankings are better. But you don't know until the games are played, right? If you had that attitude, Boise State would never beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, right?
I'm just being a realist because there's people saying Coastal is going to get in. They're not.
I think that's fair.
You can vote for them to get in, and there's probably one guy in that room that might have them in the top 4. But there's 13 people in that room. They're not getting in. I don't care.
I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue that we're talking about Clemson. And we're talking about a team with 2 losses possibly getting in the playoffs over a Coastal Carolina team who scheduled BYU, who was ranked in the top 15 at the time, and played them on 3 days notice, 4 days notice? Bro, that takes some cojones. The Big Ten ain't doing that shit. The SEC schools ain't doing that shit.
They don't have to.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's an issue to me. You got these teams copping out. I mean, like Ohio State. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm trying to use them as an example to be realistic and unbiased. That them not playing Illinois. The reason they don't have 5 games right now is their fault. That's their fault. They didn't when they went
Big Conference let them down. I'm not blaming Ohio State.
When Ohio State had those positives, they did not have enough, from my understanding. And again, we talked about this yesterday. My understanding of the COVID rules are super convoluted. I'm not sure. Every conference is different. But my understanding, when they canceled the Illinois game, Ohio State canceled that game. And they did not have to under the Big Ten guidelines. Why did they do that?
There's half and half blame. It's like USC and Colorado. Like, you're saying USC should be. I mean, Colorado should be in over us. I even agree with that. I'm a USC fan.
Yeah, I mean, no one said anything about Colorado.
But the conferences let them down. This was. I tweeted this out, and I got bashed for it in freaking August, dude. I knew this was gonna happen, and I was like, it's not even gonna be that controversial because if you didn't know this was gonna happen, when you start your season 6 games back, dude, and then you have COVID case on top of that. You're playing. USC is going to play 6 games the whole season. There's teams playing 12 games. Coastal Carolina, use them as number. BYU's 9-1.
They're still getting shit on. And they're still getting shit on. Coastal Carolina has 10. They're going to play 10.
So it's
games.
Like you gotta pick your poison. Do you want to be like 9? I think BYU should be ranked ahead of USC, and they have a loss. The USC's undefeated. I don't care about that. That one loss they took. You know how much balls, like you just said.
I know they had nothing to gain either because if they win, no one's going to give a shit. No one was going to give a shit.
But that's what I'm saying. That BYU would have made a New Year's Six game, I believe. I think I would have put.
But they were going to do that regardless. They were going to go. One of those teams was going to go. Maybe Cincinnati. Is that what your argument is?
No, I think Cincinnati and BYU might have got a New Year's Six, and that's rare for 2 non-Power 5.
Non-Power 5.
But I do think that I'm saying like a BYU that's 9-1. They took that Coastal game. They should be ranked higher than USC. I don't care if USC.
You just cut out. All right, talk.
No, I was saying I don't care I don't care about USC or Colorado being undefeated. BYU's better. On the eye test, they're better to me. Their strength of schedule's better, and they did lose 1 game, but they're still better. I go off the strength of schedule, eye test.
But see this, but all those things are opinionated, right? Strength of schedule, you can throw strength of schedule out the window right now because all the conferences only played people in their own conferences, right? So the only way we know that one conference is better than the other is based off of preseason rankings, which are made up of people that are using their own opinion, right? I mean, do we really know that the Big Ten is better than do we really know that the Big Ten is better than the Sun Belt? I don't know that. I mean, Penn State and Michigan were both ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of the year, and they both suck. I don't know that either of those teams could beat Coastal Carolina. You know what I mean? Right there, that's a huge flaw with the whole preseason ranking system. Right now, the SEC has they have 2 teams with 1 loss that are ranked 5 and 6. The Big Ten has 2 teams that are 1 loss and they're ranked 12 and 13. Why? Well, I don't understand where are we getting these rankings? Why are we making this up? Right? So all I'm saying is they take this. They had the schedule in front of them. They win the games. It's for me. It's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue against someone deserving a chance. I mean, Coastal Carolina's beat everybody in front of them, and they beat teams. It's not like Texas A&M where they squeak by a 4-win Auburn team and they lose by 40 points to Alabama. You know what I mean? Right. Clemson did make a solid argument because they lost their starting quarterback to COVID, and it's a COVID broken season. So there are a lot of variables. But this season, if anything, it shows that the playoff committee, the playoff situation, it's not working. They need to expand the thing. And I don't really know why they have. I mean, have you seen the list of people that are on the committee? It's like former Army generals and former athletic directors and Condoleezza Rice. It's like, bro, I have the utmost respect for, the former Army general that's in. But what does he know about football? What is his pedigree? Why are they making? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Ronnie Lott is like the only.
I think they wanted non-biased people in the room, but having like Barry Alvarez in the room obviously is kind of biased a little bit.
I mean, you can't go right. Yeah, and
or Larry Scott. I mean,
dude,
or not Larry Scott. I think there was the one before Larry Scott, the Pac-12 guy. Well, I mean, hopefully, they're not biased. I don't know. I mean, that's just.
There's a guy who graduated from Florida in it. There's a guy who graduated from Texas. I believe there's a guy who graduated from Texas A&M in it. They're supposed to leave the room when they're talking about the team that they represent.
Yeah, they are.
But who cares? I don't know why, but it doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
it's guys that are on.
I guess the only reason I'm okay with it is because we had the BCS was way worse than this. Was it? Yeah. Oh, it was 2 teams. Anytime you get 4 over 2, it's better.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, we've never had a split national champion since USC had a split. There's no split anymore. I mean, UCF, if you want to count it as a split, that's cool. But I don't. They can count it if they want. That's fine. But USC and LSU was the last split.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, there's no split anymore. It's like these are the 4 teams, take it or leave it. I mean, it should be 8, like I said, or 16, whatever you want to do it. But like the BCS was trash. Like it was computer generated, dude. Like
yeah, but that eliminated everything, right?
USC,
dude, there ain't no way. There ain't no way there's no way that those important people can sit there and watch all those goddamn games. There ain't no way. There ain't no way any of them can tell me if they know the starting quarterbacks.
Well, that's why they have AP rankings and coaches rankings. That's why they have those.
Well, I don't. That's why I'm saying I don't necessarily think. So your
AP is you got writers like us is AP. That's what you. I mean, those guys watch games. You got coaches, and then you got those. People. So it's
and I don't watch. I don't have time to watch every game. All I'm saying is the BCS sucked because you had 2 teams. But if you had the BCS with the top 4 teams, I think that's probably better than the playoff committee. They're just pulling shit out of their. I mean, I had every time afterwards they ask them why they voted a certain way, and it makes no goddamn sense.
Like the BCS with a top 4 would have been nice. I still
completely biased.
It's still it. I mean it. But you're a fan of small schools, dude. They would have got screwed. I think they have a better chance with human eye over computers.
So there's a guy who runs the BCS system every week. Coastal Carolina would be ranked number 1 right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But
well,
again,
really, they'd be ranked number 1.
But here's the flaw. Here's the flaw in the system because BYU's ranked so high. So the problem with the BCS polls is it does take into account preseason polls and where they're ranked. So that's the issue with the BCS.
I mean,
Coastal Carolina makes that jump because they beat BYU, who was ranked in the top 15. So Coastal Carolina got a top 15 victory, whatever, and they got more wins.
Okay, that makes sense because the actual wins they have on the field too. I guess that makes a little more. I was surprised. That makes a little bit more sense because the Coastal Carolina's played like double, USC or Oregon games or Ohio State or whatever.
And Ohio State would be ranked like 12, I think, is what they had them at, or something like that.
Their schedule, yeah, that makes sense.
There's only 4 games
because they played 4 games and they didn't get to play the bulk of their schedule or whatever. So I get that. They're both odd. I'm not saying either of them good. I like this better than the BCS. Maybe I'm a little biased. The BCS always screwed Pac-12 teams over. Like we're just not good anymore. But when the Pac-12 was good back then, we were pretty much like the ACC. We were getting screwed. I mean, you can make an argument we were the best conference in America. SEC was with us, but the SEC was not nearly as deep as they were now. I mean, we had 5-6 teams ranked every week in top 25. And USC
what years are you talking about? You talking about the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart years?
I'm talking about Pete Carroll's like pretty much whole tenure. The whole Pac-12.
Yeah, the Big 12 was good.
The Big 12 was really good. It was more even. Yeah. It was more even.
Texas, Oklahoma.
ACC was down a little bit.
The ACC was down, and that was which is really strange too because after they absorbed the Big East, everybody thought that they were going to be the shit. I think the SEC is now.
Well, I think the mid-major schools, I call them the mid-major schools. You know what I mean? I don't want to call them. I don't like calling them small schools. I call them mid-majors. I'm a college basketball guy too. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like those Gonzaga would be like your Coastal Carolina pretty much or whatever. Like that's See, like that's the thing though. Like I know you can go on about this forever. It's like college basketball. Like I wish that like college basketball is a lot different, but like. You would love to, like, I know you're not a college basketball fan, but you get a fair. Gonzaga's number 1, dude. Like, they're in the Western Coast Conference. That's not even a Power 5. And they're number 1. They get a chance to compete every year. Or Butler. Remember Butler? I don't know if you remember when Butler played.
Of course. I was going to Valpo at the time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you remember that. I see you play at Valpo, like, Butler made the championship. We can't have 64 teams or 68, obviously.
No. But you need that many. Because you're only going to take the conference champions.
I would love to see maybe like you said would you say every conference champion? How many conferences is there? 11 or 12?
So there are 12 conferences, I believe. Off the top of my head.
So you said 12 conferences and then 4 at larges? Is that what you said? For 16?
No, I was saying take all the my ideal number was 14. 12 conference champions and then 2 at larges. So the two at larges are what you're arguing about.
Somebody's gonna buy the top 2, I guess.
Yeah. So in that situation, you're so you would take every conference champion, and then if Texas A&M and Clemson would be your next 2 up, right? Like, okay, hey, these teams, they both lost one, they didn't win their conference. I mean, obviously, right now they didn't. Let's say the Texas A&M doesn't go to the conference championship because they lost Alabama. They're in a shitty division. That's not really their fault. They lost by 40 points early on. They smashed everybody else. Okay, now they can get in as the 14 seed. Clemson gets in as the 13 seed. The quarterback was sick, blah, blah, blah. I feel like there's less argumentative if you get to 14. That way every conference champion gets in. And then it's up to your conference to figure out how you want to do it. That's why I'm okay with the Big Ten doing their thing with the Ohio State, because it's like, all right, it's kind of like, I feel like it's more like
it's kind of like high school football a little bit, because like the states do their own thing, and like you figure it out, champions come here. You know what I mean? The more I think about that, I like it. We've disagreed, a little bit, but I still like my 8. But
that's better than 4.
No, but the more I've thought about your 14, I do like it. That'd be like everyone can shut the hell up. I mean, there's someone still going to complain. People complain in the college basketball when there's 68. They're like, "Oh, we should have got in." I'm like, "Dude,
yes,
shut up."
And because they have too many at-larges. No one complains about the NFL playoffs, right?
No
one complains about the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs, right? Because the rules go in it. This is the rules. You win the conference, you're in. Shut the hell up. So there's going to be arguments about those 2 at-larges. So maybe that's an issue. Maybe your way is better because you get 3 at-larges. And then you can use them all in small schools or whatever, because no one seems to care about the small schools, but 3 people on Twitter. You know what I mean? So maybe your way is better to dilute that. But you got to find a way to cut the at-larges. This is how you get in, right? Because also the problem with just expanding it, like, oh, we'll just go 8, is because then you're going to have the same problem that you're dealing with now. People aren't mad that there's 4. They're mad that you're constantly trying to cram one conference into half the spots, right? Whether it's the ACC this year or the SEC every other year. I mean, look, if one of those teams fall down, you're going to have 2 SEC schools in there, and they've only played other SEC schools. And it's like, you know what I mean? You're getting that. So if you go to 8, that's going to be the argument too. Because if we were at 8 now, there'd be 3 SEC schools in that bitch. And no Pac-12.
But at least Cincy would be in it.
That's true.
You got to give and take, man. Give and take.
But again, you
keep saying USC, dude. We don't want to. I want us to be undefeated, so I don't want to be playing. Hopefully, we can just win out, and then we're not to play Ohio State because they're going to make it. We'll play Northwestern or some other Indiana.
Which Ohio State has to beat Northwestern, because if the Big Ten is changing all these rules.
Imagine if they lost, dude.
It'd be really. I don't think they're going to, but man, that'd be bad. That'd be pretty ugly.
Notre Dame would be super happy. They'd be guaranteed a spot in.
Indiana would
or
good.
Hey, maybe the
Notre Dame's in.
I just, you know what, like people with USC, like I talked about USC this morning. I'm actually going to be on a podcast about the Pac-12 like tomorrow. And
really?
It's just, I don't even want to really talk about it, dude. The Pac-12 just sucks so bad. I hate Larry Scott.
Why do you think they suck? Because
Larry Scott sucks. He's the worst. He's the worst commissioner. He's the worst commissioner in major college sports.
That's fair, but that's not the team's fault. The way they've designed their season, the way they've gone about it, that's bad. That's bad. But the talent that's there, I mean.
You were talking about the talent. I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
the way the conference is run.
The conference is just. There's been so much. The TV deals, man. The blackouts. The funding, where it's going. Everything he's done is just like on the shit. And yeah, like USC is the bell cow, and like they give us a lot of credit, and they push us up and put us up there on that pedestal, and I do like that. But in Oregon, those 2 schools, they do that. Oregon, UCLA for a lot of different sports too. But the whole conference, I mean, I'm talking about track and field, dude, baseball, like everything. They've lost baseball teams. Like Washington State lost their baseball team. Like,
really?
Yeah, like they're losing like sports, dude. Like the Pac-12 is a mess. Like I don't mean the talent. The talent's good. Yeah, I mean, is it the best conference in the world? No, but there's hella talent there. Look at that.
They're up there, and they always get shit on.
Yeah, look at the draft. I mean, I love my conference in the West Coast, man. It's cool. I wish they were just doing different. They don't want to add BYU. They didn't send an invitation. BYU, I think at one point wanted to be added to that conference. They didn't want to add them because
for sure.
Religious regions. I'm just like, dude, like, come on, man. Like, let's get it together in Pac-12. That's all. I'm not saying the conference is trash. Like, the talent's there. I think they're 4th out of the Big 5. I would say they're 4th.
I feel like there's tiers. They're probably in that second tier. Yeah. The first tier is probably the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 10, I suppose.
Yeah, I like SEC, Big 10, ACC, Pac-12, and Big 12. But it's hard because, like,
Big 12
Big 12 is top heavy. The Pac-12 is better than the Big 12, like, throughout the conference. It is
Yeah,
hard.
I
It's
don't
hard.
know.
It's hard to get a win in the Pac-12 on the road in some of those places, dude. The Big 12 is like the bottom of the Big 12 is trash, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like I can send.
Well, Kansas is bad, but some of those teams are. I don't
Not
know.
trash.
The Big 12 might be top to bottom. The Big 12 might be better than the Big 10. That might be in their first tier because the Big 12. I mean,
I'm not counting
Oklahoma,
this year.
Iowa State, Baylor, Texas. You don't want to mess with. Well,
I'm not
Baylor's been
counting.
around for-
I'm not counting this year though for the Big Ten. They had a really bad year, but
Well, that's what I was talking. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
this
But
year,
even then,
yeah.
we still don't really know that. Everybody just assumes they're having a bad year because Michigan and Penn State blow. But what's Indiana looked damn tough, dude. They're gonna give whoever they play in a bowl game, they're gonna give them shit. Iowa,
They'll be in the
same
Rose
thing.
Bowl. They'll be in the Rose Bowl.
Northwestern, same thing.
Hopefully, they'll be projected rises Indiana versus USC right now in the Rose Bowl, and I would be.
See, USC don't want none, dude.
Oh, I want them, but see, I think we can actually beat them. We're not beating. You're trying to put us against damn Alabama and Ohio State, dude.
Because I think that the gap is big. I think that the gap is not that. I think that there's the gap is smaller between towns. Whatever. We've been ranting on long enough. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in.
That's fine.
So my college football bets, I went 0-2 last week. My first game, Boise State giving 27 points to UNLV, was canceled, unfortunately. Then my second game was Purdue giving 2 points to Nebraska. Purdue lost outright 37-27. I'm not sure really what went wrong there. I know Rondale Moore got hurt early, but he played the rest of the game, got 13 receptions, was pretty heavily involved. Purdue's just not as good as I thought they were going to be. And Nebraska's not as bad as I thought they were going to be. My third game, Adrian Martinez played out of his mind, and that usually is something you never say about Adrian Martinez, especially since he got benched earlier in the year. My third bet was Oklahoma State giving 2.5 points to TCU. I thought this was an absolute lock. I couldn't have been harder to take this, and Oklahoma State lost outright 29-22. TCU had 5 turnovers, Donovan. 5 turnovers, and I still lost that bet.
Max Duggan played pretty well for the most part, obviously turnovers, but yeah,
Oklahoma State was winning for most of the game. They just couldn't close the deal. So I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm still taking that bet. The Purdue bet was a bad bet. Nebraska pretty much owned them. Oklahoma State was in control for a large part of that game. You know, whenever if you give me the box score and you show me a team's got 5 turnovers, I'm always going to take the opposite team. This has got to be a rarity, but that's where I was 0-2. So hopefully I got a better week coming up. Donovan, how'd you do?
College, I actually didn't have a good week. I was 1-2. I lost, like you mentioned. I'm wearing an A&M hat right now, gig 'em. But yeah, they obviously, I actually picked them to lose outright to Auburn, and they didn't. Obviously, they
what was the spread? They lost against.
It was 7.
They lost against the spread too.
Yeah. Auburn looked good early on. I think it was a push. They looked good early on, but just turnovers and penalties. They're one of the most penalized teams in the SEC. I think they're 11th in that conference for that. So they're undisciplined. Bo Nix is just he made one of the best plays I've seen all year. That throw he made or that run that was
insane. That was like the only good thing. He's so
that's
bad.
Just
dude.
Bo, man. He's
so goddamn bad.
Yeah, he made one throw on a zip that was 30 yards that looked good, but it's just like he'll make 2 wild plays and then just kind of leave you hanging. So I lost that one. I took Bama over LSU. I'll take Bama.
I don't know why I didn't jump on that. I've been talking about
LSU. Too easy. Yeah.
Hot goddamn garbage all goddamn year. The spread's just so big, man. The spreads are just so big.
They are, but they really, after all that crap LSU was talking last year, especially this offseason, they sent my boy Eric Gilbert home. He left the damn program, dude, after the game and went back to Georgia. The starting tight end, he's a Gatorade Player of the Year. That's bad. They started off like it was 21-7, and then that kid dropped the ball when he was going to the end zone. Deshaun Jackson did, where he was celebrating. Yeah. It could have been 21-14. It wouldn't have been close still, but it could have been a different game. Maybe they wouldn't have lost by as much. I think that
was a lock. That was a lock, and I'm upset I didn't jump on it. Yeah. What was your third bet?
My third one was Oklahoma Baylor. So I lost that one as well. I went 3. Oh, no, I went 1 and 2. Yeah,
you won the
game.
other
Sorry,
one. Yeah.
Bama game. Sorry, I won the Bama game. Oklahoma Baylor, they won. Slow scoring game, dude. I took the over too for a side bet, and
so you went 2-1.
No, I took Auburn over, and they didn't cover or they pushed. So I guess I went 1.
Oklahoma beat the spread against Baylor, right?
No, it was 22.
The spread was 22 points?
Yeah, it was 22, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
22, bro. Yeah,
damn.
they won by like 11, I think, or 10. Yeah,
Like 14, yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but they didn't.
Damn.
Yeah, it was low scoring too, though. Like, so I mean, they ran the ball a lot. Not having their coaching staff, I think, kind of like they went kind of vanilla game plan. Maybe, but they won. I mean, they've looked a lot better, and their defense actually looked good. I mean, Brewer had a couple throws, but yeah. So those are the 3 games I lost. Would have took UGA Vandy too, but I mean that game got postponed. I figured it was because I had heard Vandy was having some issues with COVID. So
I got another canceled game that I had on here, and I didn't have time to find a third game like I did last week. But my top game was Indiana, given 9.5 points to Purdue. I looked at that. I thought I was shocked because I thought that would be 14 points after how bad Purdue is and after how good Indiana is. I think that spread was made based off the fact that Michael Penix is hurt and he's not going back. But Indiana didn't really skip a beat. They still look good. But that game is canceled, unfortunately. So I'll go on to my now number one best bet. Hawaii giving 20.5 points to UNLV on the islands. I was surprised that this wasn't 25. The fact that it's not gone through 3 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns and a field goal surprises me. I feel like I'm getting a really good number here. I'm expecting this number to go up past 3 touchdowns. So right now I would jump on it. UNLV is currently sitting at 0-5. Hawaii is 3-4. So they're not exactly great. But again, it's on the islands, and UNLV and Marcus Arroyo, hot garbage. UNLV just lost to Wyoming 45-14. Hawaii lost to San Jose State 24-35, which is not good. But remember, San Jose State is undefeated. One of those mountains. Yeah. Nick Starkel's got it rolling down there. I'm not going to discount it nearly as bad as the UNLV loss to Wyoming. Which brings up our next point. I also think that the quarterback is a distraction, eating sushi off of new models and all.
Max Gilliam, he's a friend of my family member, old co-host from old show, Darius Allensworth. He knows Max.
Oh, he knows him, huh?
They went to Cal together, yeah. So they know each other.
He's a transfer from Cal?
Yeah, he's a transfer from Cal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he knows him really well. Because he was like, y'all doing my boy Max dirty out here, man, making him apologize for something so silly. I'm like, well, there's a whole pandemic going on, and
this was before the pandemic, wasn't it? This was filmed a long. Like was
it that long ago? Filmed?
I believe it was played on TV 3 weeks ago, and it was filmed.
It had to be filmed.
My girlfriend said it was filmed like 6 months ago.
No, that's when pandemic started. Well, it's March, right? February, March. That was yeah. That's.
Then maybe it was filmed before that. I don't know. I don't think he apologized due to COVID. I think he just apologized because.
Oh, well,
he was eating sushi off a naked chick, which I wouldn't apologize for that shit.
I don't know if that's a distraction for UNLV, dude. They play in Vegas. We got a lot more problems than that. But I don't.
Dude, I would transfer. If my coach made me apologize for eating sushi off a nude model, first of all, could you imagine if social media existed back when Joe Namath was playing? Dude, that dude was eating tacos out of buttholes constantly, bro.
Oh my god,
that was dude. I'm serious. Think about it, bro. Joe Namath was wild, dude. Gonna get on me about that shit?
Max is he's from Thousand Oaks. If all my California listeners out there, there's some wild people up in the TO. In LA,
so is he rich? For those of you that aren't in the know, Max Gilliam, is it Gilliam?
Yeah.
He was on a show called Below Deck, which is on Bravo, where it's these rich people go and they rent a yacht. That's basically the whole theme of the show. So he was renting a yacht. So is he rich? Is that the deal?
Yeah, his family's got some dough for sure. They're from a very affluent part of Southern California, and
he was with his girlfriend too, right? When he was eating the sushi.
Yeah, they were all just like.
It was just like a thing,
drinking on. He's old enough to drink, so I'm not throwing him under the bus. But he's just like 22. But yeah, they're just drinking on the yacht and eating sushi.
Strange, bro. Strange. I mean, I'm jealous.
You know, us people from California are weird, man. But we party, but we're weird.
I'll eat stuff of a naked body. That's cool. I eat corn dog crumbs off my naked body constantly.
That's cool. You're the number one corn dog fan in the world, dude.
Great. Oh, yay. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's Arby's. It's Arby's. I love Arby's.
My sister's a manager at Arby's, dude. She can hook
you up.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
She can hook you up, bro.
Piping hot Arby's with the beef and cheese. Anyways. So that's my number one game. What's your number one game?
Excuse me, that's funny. My number one game, Oh man, I right in front of me. Oh, speaking of USC, as much as I talked down on my team, USC over UCLA 3. The spread's a little lower than I thought, but it's because Dorian Thompson-Robinson's back from COVID. He's missed the last 2 weeks.
Is he back? He's back?
He's back, so I am worried because DTR is an explosive quarterback. Run the football, pass the football. He's going to be a threat. He's got 2 more years.
Felton's playing good too. Felton's playing good. That UCLA offense is rolling, bro.
This is going to be a test for their offense rolling, but their defense is bad. And Keaton, you watch Keaton Slovis' last game versus Washington State? Ross St. Brown had 4 touchdowns in the first half.
That was on a Sunday, right?
Oh yeah, I was loving it. I just watched my pack beat up. I literally watched both of my quarterbacks just dominate. Rodgers get a little Rodgers action, get a little Keaton action. Watch Baker early in the morning, but no, I mean, I think this game's gonna be high scoring. I'm looking at like a 45-31 type of game. But 3, the USC will win by more than 3. I mean, I don't think UCLA will have any stops for this. USC can get a couple stops, as they showed you with Arizona and Arizona State early on. And even in the Utah game, playing Jake Bentley, got a couple interceptions here and there. So I think
I like the handicap. I'm just scared of that number.
3.
UCLA is just getting better. They just seem like they're getting better, so it worries me. My number 2 game. We got to speed this up. I'm going to hear my girlfriend cooking. Northern Illinois getting 6 points from Eastern Michigan. I thought that this would be around the 3-point range. So the fact that I'm getting 6 points, almost a touchdown, I thought was great. I know Northern Illinois sits at 0-5, but Eastern Michigan also sucks. They're 1-4. They're coming off their first victory. Northern Illinois lost to Toledo 41-24. So the fact that they were able to put up 24 points at all, I thought was a moral victory. Eastern Michigan just beat the shit out of Western Michigan 53-42 last week. They're at an all-time high. Eastern Michigan blows. They're going to come back down to earth, and I'm going to get this victory with Northern Illinois. What you got, Donovan? What you got?
All right, I'm going to stay Midwest. I got Illinois covering versus Northwestern.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. It's 14.5. I think Northwestern might be peeping ahead. Illinois, I thought they've been playing well. They're not winning games, but they look a little bit better, like their quarterback, Williams. So I'm going to go with them. I think they can – now, they're not pulling off the upset, but I think they'll cover 14.5.
Damn, dude. You get some ballsy picks today. I don't have a backup pick for the Indiana game. You got a third pick there?
Oh, Indiana Purdue is your game. Yeah, that's right. I got. Speaking of Max Gilliam, his former team Cal, they are a favorite over Washington State by 2.5. I think they cover. Washington State last week. Look, they're a mess. They're young. They're the youngest team in the Pac-12. Their defense is bad. Cal coming off that big win. Cal's been in every game they played this year. They only won 1. They beat Oregon last week. That was big. I think Chase Garbage played really well, and if they can watch that tape versus USC, they don't have USC skill position skills, but they can watch that tape and kind of spread it out. I know Cal likes to do a lot of 4 and 5 wide. They should be able to beat Washington State by more than 2.5, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Washington State's bad. I know that Cal's not great this year, but Washington State's horrible. Let's move on to the NFL. I had a pretty good week. I went 2-1. I took the Indianapolis Colts, giving 3 points to Houston Texans. I won that one with ease. The Colts won 26-20. I did take the Kansas City Chiefs, giving 14 points to the Denver Broncos. God damn the Kansas City Chiefs. Every time I bet on them, they just lost 16. They won outright 22-16, but obviously didn't cover the spread. I also took the Browns, getting 6 points from the Tennessee Titans, as we talked about in depth yesterday in the podcast before. That was an easy W. Donovan, what did you do last week?
Yeah, man, I did pretty well. New Orleans over Atlanta, 3. Got that one. Cleveland over Tennessee, 5.5. And then Buffalo over San Francisco, 3-0.
Yeah, that's right, because we disagreed in the Buffalo-San Francisco game, and you won that with ease. So good for you. My first game, you'll like this. The Green Bay Packers giving 7.5 points to the Detroit Lions at Detroit. Green Bay currently sits at 9-3. Detroit sits at 5-7. So only sitting at 7.5 points really confuses me. I thought for sure this would be double digits. Green Bay just came off of a walloping of the Philadelphia Eagles 30-16. And Detroit did barely beat the Chicago Bears 34-30. With Darren Bevel now being the head coach, I don't think that's good for 2 games in a row. So again, I'm going to take my boy Aaron Rodgers and the 7.5 and lay the points. Donovan, what you think and what you got?
I got Green Bay over Detroit in my first bet too. 7.
Really? It feels too easy, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Detroit the last 2 years has played us a lot better, and they actually snuck one in, obviously. But their team is, and obviously, I love number 9, man. Number 9, Matthew Stafford. I love him, but he's gonna put up his numbers and do his thing, but it's not gonna be enough. I will say though, I mean, we still struggle with our secondary is still struggling. That's like our bugaboo. I feel like we can't stop the run either, but we give up big plays and we can't stop the run. So I mean, they might be able to put up a few big plays with Stafford and those receivers, but yeah, 7.5 is. It's not going to be about us stopping them. It's going to be about them trying to stop. Our offense is playing damn near perfect. I think right now they're the best offense in the NFL. Obviously, the Chiefs are the best, but right now at this moment,
you can make an argument.
Yeah,
you can make an argument for sure.
They got healthy running backs. The O-line's pretty healthy for what it's worth. The receivers are playing amazing. Devontae's the top 3 receiver in the league.
Yeah.
The tight end,
Tanya,
yeah, is playing great. 8 touchdowns. I mean, so yeah, I go.
This could be a backdoor. This could be if we lose this bet, it's good because the Lions scored garbage touchdown and
they do that a lot too.
That would be the reason we'd lose. My number 2 bet: Indianapolis Colts give it 2.5 points to the Las Vegas Raiders. Indianapolis Colts are 8-4. The Las Vegas Raiders are 7-5. I do not believe that their records indicate what they are talent wise. We just talked about the Colts beating the Texans and not really ever being in a threat to lose. The Vegas Raiders did beat the New York Jets, but it was barely on a last second play from Derek Carr to Henry Ruggs when they won 31-28. Dude, if you're letting the New York Jets score 28 points on you, bro, money all day, laying the points at the Colts. The Vegas Raiders defense blows. They've sucked all week. They've sucked all year long. They got no pass rush. They're too young. They're too inexperienced. They're constantly out of position. Give me the Colts.
I looked at that game and it was like going back and forth, and I was like, I can't touch it because
how it's not 6 points, I don't know.
Vegas is so weird, and like Gruden bounces back pretty good off of games. Like, I mean, they won the game, but I mean, he's gonna have so much tape for them to watch and be like, dude, y'all stunk it up. Obviously, this is a big game for them because we were just talking last night about Baltimore. Getting that wild card spot. Miami's trying to get that wild card spot.
Yep.
A lot of other teams vying for that spot. So this is a big game for them. But I couldn't touch that one. I was like, the Colts should win, though. They should win, but you never know.
2.5 is basically a pick 'em. It's basically a pick 'em. So if you're getting it right, I think if you're going to take the game, you got to take it now because eventually it's going to go over a field goal, and at that point, you might as well just not bet on it.
I would take the Colts for sure if I had gotten ahead. My second one is Philadelphia and New Orleans, and I'm taking Philly.
No way, dude! You're taking Philly? What? Okay, what?
Not to win, but it's 7.5.
You got the hook. See, I didn't get the hook. I took New Orleans, but I'm not giving the hook. I got it at 7. I locked the bet in yesterday. So did you look at it today?
I mean, yeah, I got it today.
So that makes sense.
I mean, for one, I think this team might get a little. All that talent we've talked about, I think we might get a spark of energy with Jalen, and they're going to run the ball more. They're going to have to. They can't. I think I was trying to really force Carson Wentz to be good, throwing 30, 40 times a game. It just wasn't it, man. He'll be a Colt next year probably with Frank Reich, probably, whatever. But right now it's Jalen Hurts' turn. They can run a lot of RPO with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. I can't wait to see how this looks. I really like Jalen Hurts in this offense. Now I know they still stink. They're not going to be just magically great, but I like some of the stuff I saw at the end of the game from the a couple throws he made at the Packers last week, and I'm excited to see it, man. I'm really excited to see him play. And Taysom's been playing really well, but the Saints are just trying to win games. They're not really looking pretty necessarily. They almost blew that game. The Falcons. I know the Falcons outplayed the Saints. And they had a chance to win.
The Falcons struggled moving the ball.
They did.
Fumble had a lot of turnovers. Brian Hill.
Yeah, turnovers and penalties, man. The Falcons are just so undisciplined all the time. Like, it doesn't matter who their coaches. But I like Philly. I like Philly cover, not to win. Because my friends listen to the show. They say they'll be like, you like this team to win? I'm like, no, to cover.
That takes a lot of balls. I do think that you have a good handicap with the Jalen Hurts because you do see even if a quarterback blows if he's a new quarterback, it's re-energizing. It gives them a kind of a rebirth, like a fresh start. So I do think that there is something there. I don't think Jalen Hurts is better than Carson Wentz.
There's no tape on him either.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. That's definitely going to be a spark. But the Eagles are just so bad. I don't think Carson Wentz is a bad quarterback. I think that the Eagles are just that bad. I think Joe Montana would struggle playing behind with this talent, with everything around, with what's going on with Wentz. I took the Saints, so we're on opposite ends, 10-2 versus 3-8-1. Basically for the same reasons you're taking the Eagles, I'm taking the Saints. I feel like they're going to take advantage of the rookie quarterback, and I do think that Taysom Hill has done just enough to not screw it up, and he's looked more comfortable as a passer. Now, with that said, I'd rather have Jalen Hurts than Taysom Hill, but the supporting is it a hot take? I think a lot.
Well, you mean for the future, or like this year? Because Taysom Hill's age, I feel like that's the only. I hate that because I'm a huge Taysom fan, but I wish, and I don't. This man went on a Mormon mission and did greater things than I've ever imagined.
Super nice guy, dude. His college career, you can find an article that I wrote about him when I was writing for Fanside his sophomore year. I said he was going to be better than Tim Tebow. He was killing it in college, killing it.
6 years in college and a Mormon mission, so that's like 8-9 years, and then now he's just playing. I mean, he's just starting to get good. But I don't
know if he has the velocity. I think Jalen Hurts is just a better quarterback, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way,
you're probably right. Actually, I get very sensitive when people talk about Taysom Hill. So,
I love Taysom Hill. I love Taysom Hill. It doesn't matter because Taysom Hill's got the supporting cast. So Taysom Hill Jalen, dude, the Eagles suck.
Is he the starting quarterback for the Saints next year when Breeze retires?
Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything to not get the start. You can win with Taysom Hill, I think, but he's not going to win you games. He's going to do what he's done, which is I'm going to run. I'm not going to turn the ball over, and I'm going to run for a couple first downs. But I don't think he's the dude. He's not like Patrick Mahomes.
No. I think he starts with him next year.
I don't think he's ever going to be a top 10 quarterback, and that's what you're kind of looking for.
No, I don't think he's ever going to be a top 10 quarterback, but I think they can ride with him for. I mean, their team's so good around him that I think they can keep building around. They can kind of save not save money because they're already paying him a lot, but they can have Taysom Hill and Jameis, and then maybe draft a quarterback not next year or the next 2 years, maybe in a couple years, and develop.
Well, and I'd
ride him out. I'd ride him out as long as I could.
They found a unique niche too because Michael Thomas, and you as we talked about on your podcast in years past, he's a crossing artist, right? He doesn't really go deep, right? He's very much like Jarvis Landry, where he'll get 7 million receptions for 30 yards. And that's kind of like how Taysom Hill is. He doesn't really throw the deep ball. He just kind of runs around and finds you. Alvin Kamara is the same type of running back. So you could definitely build an offense. I would never say you're building an offense around Taysom Hill, but you can build an offense that makes you not lose with Taysom Hill. Does that make sense? There's some offenses where, it's kind of like with the Niners. Well, I don't want to use that as an example either, but it would be very similar to what the Niners are trying to do.
And Nick Mullins are kind of like similar.
With Nick Mullins, it's exactly what they're trying to do with Nick Mullins. We need you to just shut up and limit what you're doing, and it works. Statistically speaking, Nick Mullins isn't a liability. No. And I think that's how Taysom Hill is, but. It depends on what I'm not a big believer that you need a Hall of Fame quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I think if you just have a guy that doesn't suck and you build properly around him, you can do it. But that's the big question. Now, Jameis Winston, I think if you're talking about a guy with untapped potential, I think Jameis Winston can be a straight god. He's an idiot.
Yeah, I trust Taysom more than Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis is just an idiot. He's always been an idiot. He throws lots of picks. He's stupid.
Jameis is a better passer, clearly.
He's athletic too. He's
sneaky athletic. He's like one of the only black people you probably call sneaky athletic. It's always like a white guy they call sneaky athletic.
He's got good size, big arm, good velocity. He can throw. He can hit every blade of grass. There's no issue with his game, but he's just a complete idiot. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Did you have any other things to add before we log off here?
Yeah, my last game was Buffalo-Pittsburgh. I took that. That was my third game because I had Green Bay, Detroit, Philly, and New Orleans. Then
Buffalo-Pittsburgh. What's the spread on that game?
Pitt's favored by 2.5.
Yeah, pass. I'm not betting on that game.
That game, yeah. I was just talking to one of my boys about that. That's in the gambling scene. And he was like, I don't think that. That one's tough because he was like, that line's gonna move. a lot. It might not even be 2.5. That was 2.5 last night. It might have changed. I looked at that game like immediately last night because I've been looking forward to Buffalo. Really, that's their show me game. Like they're the most disrespected 9-3 team ever, dude. Like if they go beat Pittsburgh, I think they can beat Pittsburgh or Kansas City. Honestly,
I think so too. All right, so you are taking Buffalo?
I'm taking Buffalo. Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo.
I lean with I would bet Buffalo. If I'm going that route, I'm betting Buffalo. I think we're on the same page there. It's hard, It's hard. I don't like to bet on those teams that play during the week because I never know how they're recovering, what's going on. Everything's late. You know what I mean? I try to avoid that stuff. That's one of the reasons why I'm not going to bet on the Browns-Ravens game is because the Ravens just played. And I'm not really sure how that recovery is going to be, and I don't really know if I trust the Browns to beat the Ravens just yet.
That's fair. Yeah. Matthew Juden's back and Mark Andrews, by the way. My boy really sneezes out again. We'll be missing him too much. I know. I'm like the Billy's Willie Sneed fan.
All right, man. Did you have anything else to add?
No, man, we're good. I appreciate being on always. Of course, fun.
Yeah, we'll see how this the stream turns out. Hopefully, I'll be able to edit it for the MP3. But this was the Browns podcast. Give us a like, a review, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Keatley16. Donovan, where can they hit you up at?
Yeah, hit me up on Student Union Sports. Check out my work there, and then just follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports. The name remains the same. Been getting some good Twitter battles today. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a couple. This high school football stuff. Nothing crazy, but yeah, some of the high school football recruiting stuff have been.
You're deep into it, dude. Deep into the high school stuff. But this was the Browns Wire podcast, and we are out.